Hello, everyone. This is Keyword Crypto. Special episode today for the Halvening Bitcoin halvening, 630,000 block. That's what we're going to be experiencing today.
You okay over there? You get a little tongue-tied?
630,000th. How do you say thousandth on?
I thought you were trying to say thousand. I was like, dude, it's thousand. Oh, but you're trying to say thousandth.
How do you say
thousandth?
How do you say havening? I saw some stuff
The
going
third
around.
halvening.
People were saying like, dude, halvening's not even a word. It's halving. I'm like, yeah, right.
Either
You're
is
talking
hodl,
to
but
Bitcoin people.
Yeah.
All right.
What's the new one really before we thank people? What's the new one that people are saying? Stonks. Yeah, everything's stonks.
Oh yeah, stonks.
It's like how many
the stock market is stonks?
God.
So welcome everybody. We'll tell you about this show in a second, but first, before anything happens, we have to give a little thank you to two special supporters of the show.
Yeah, so we have been very bad about promoting our show in terms of getting funding because we're both artists, and artists are notoriously bad about asking for money.
Excuses.
Yeah, we do make a lot of it's like something
Who
about
cares?
like
No one cares.
Something about like getting paid for our art is somehow like, you know, minimizes the art that we make. But
no,
whatever.
That's not it. It's that we don't care about spending the time to actually do the business out of it. This is just for fun, and it always has been.
I know, but we are shelling out some. I don't want to say serious money, but in the time of a pandemic, you know, a few $100s here, a few $100 there. We tried to do an art project for this, and it cost JJ a serious chunk of change, and we didn't even end up using any of it.
You call it an art project? Yeah, okay, it was an art project. I'll take that.
So,
okay,
so there are costs to this, and we're finally starting to promote our Patreon page, and our show is up on Anchor now, and you can donate through Anchor. And then on our show notes, and on my Twitter feed, the pinned tweet, and the Keyword Crypto main Twitter feed, the pinned tweet is if you want to donate with crypto. And then if you want to, you know, there's our Patreons there, our Coinbase Commerce is there, and Anchor and all that. So we really appreciate the support because this does cost, you know, not a ton of money, but it does cost some money. And every little bit helps to make it easier for us to put out more episodes. So we've got our first Patreon sponsor and our first Anchor sponsor.
Yeah. Okay.
Plus a bunch of anonymous NANO sponsors who have been sending over some NANO here and there.
Nano.
Yeah.
Okay.
And oh crap. Here, riff for a second. I forgot to write down their names.
All right. JJ in free jazz mode. Well, so I can tell you a little story. 2 years ago today, no, actually it wasn't 2 years ago today that we started this podcast, but it was pretty darn close.
Almost 2 years, yeah.
I think sometime in May or June was when we began doing this. So we've been doing this for 2 years.
I know.
Shelling out money to entertain you listening right now. And this is a weird podcast, actually. Sometimes I don't even know what this podcast is about because it's like, are we a crypto podcast? Do we love crypto? No, we don't really love crypto. But are we crypto haters? No, we're not crypto haters because we're not like those Vile Gang guys on Twitter who just get off
we've had all of them on our show at this point.
Yes. Oh, we love them. I'm not going to identify as one of them because I kind of like crypto. And I like a lot of the cryptos that other people like hate. I like those ones too because maybe it's I don't know why. Maybe it's because I want to be different because I think it's cool. Yeah.
It's that artist side of you.
Yeah. But yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Go on.
I was going to say, I mean, this is kind of a 2-year anniversary for us that happens to land on the day of the halving. Well, yeah. So yay for us and yay for you for listening, especially if you've been here from the beginning. And I know a lot of our listeners, well, no, none of our listeners have really been here from the beginning.
Because we made it impossible for you to do so by changing platforms so many times.
Yeah, but I like to think of it as we had like a good 6-month practice run. And right around
And then
the
we
6
changed
month,
our names and made it difficult for you to find us.
and we've been using the same art and the same logo ever since, and all that. And somewhere around 6 months, we started to pick up some regular listeners that we're super grateful for, and we found a little community. So that's how you do it, apparently.
Yeah. And if
All
you
right,
do
so-
donate, we're going to probably try to do some more artwork and build up the website a little bit more, and pay an actual web developer or web designer to come in and like make it all snazzy and cool and stuff like that. Okay, so our first Patreon supporter is Lucas Morton.
And Lucas Morton.
This is how little I've had this Patreon page. We've had this Patreon page for a year and a half now, and we've never gotten anybody on there. So I almost never check it. And I just happened to check it 2 days ago, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's money there. So Lucas has been donating for 2 months now, and
oh man,
to donate $5, we said we'd give out a shout out to whoever donates $5 on the podcast. And so for two months, we haven't given him a shout out. And so I immediately start messaging him. So I'm like, oh, Lucas, I'm so sorry, blah, blah. He's like, bro, I haven't had a chance to listen for the past 2 months, so don't even sweat it.
Well, I guess like maybe
coronavirus.
I'll mention his name like 3 or 4 times in this episode, and that'll make up for the missed months.
So Lucas Morton, when you do eventually get around to listening to these COVID-19 episodes, you're going to get a few shout outs. So thank you for that. And our anchor sponsor who just started, and I got to do an accent for this or else I feel like I'll just butcher the name, but it's Michael Cacciatolo. I feel like if I don't do it with an Italian accent, it's just like, I feel like I'm just going to butcher it.
All
Michael
right.
Cacciatolo.
Well, thanks. Thanks, guys.
It's the Irish guy trying to be Italian. So,
thank
you, Michael. Thank you, Lucas. You guys are champs. Thank you, all the Nano people who have been sending Nano.
Yes, the Nano tip bot is alive and well.
Yeah, it really helps. And like I said, we've had to use foreign web developers in the past just because they're so much cheaper. But if we can raise some money and hire an American. Support America.
Yeah, I guess America needs all the help it can get right now.
Yeah, I guess like everybody does at this point. So if you're a web developer and you want some work, and you want to help us redesign our Patreon page and stuff like that, reach out to us, and we'll get you some work. And if you're a designer and you want to help design a new logo for us, reach out, because we're both artists and we like to pay people even though we have no money, because that's what artists do for each other. So, you want to get started?
Okay. 8 minutes and 30 seconds in. We're ready to start the show. Welcome, everyone, to Keyword Crypto, the show where we are crypto curious. It's just kind of a funny thing to say. I still don't quite feel comfortable saying I'm crypto curious. It's kind of like I'm unsure of myself.
Well, I wanted it to be like,
I know
it's a play on bi-curious.
Totally. Like we're crypto curious. Like, we haven't really decided what our identity is yet. We're just kind of learning about ourselves.
Exactly. Because I feel like everyone's like, you guys are so negative about crypto. And it's just like, man, I pretty much 99% of my wealth is in crypto. So as negative as I am about it, I'm pretty much all in.
And so if you're listening to this for the first time, or you maybe just tuned in for one of the, special episodes in Ethereum or whatever what we've done, our thing is pretty much we got a lot of questions about how crypto works. We are enthusiasts, we're investors, we're here for the long haul. Except we just don't like the kind of blind, dumb, idiotic, like following of this thing without understanding it. And then we're constantly coming into roadblocks. So we've got a lot of guests on who talk about very technical things and they really get into the weeds of how everything works. And we like that. And we're definitely going to keep having guests like that, but we're going to hopefully continue to challenge them too and see if they can put things into terms that I can understand, being just a dumb kid on this show. I'm like 19 years old. I mean, how can I understand anything? Well, how much did you understand when you were 19?
I knew everything when I was 19. I mean, don't all 19-year-olds know everything?
That's true. All right. I'm obviously not 19, but anyway, I'm 19.
But apparently some of our critics think we are.
Yeah, I think it's great. So some of our guests have been specialists in second layer solutions. Like we talked to
Jing,
Jing, and we talked to
Daniel,
Daniel, and or we'll have some crypto creators on. We had Jackson Palmer on. He was one of our first guests.
We had the CEO of Lolly.
We had the creator of Ethereum, Vitalik.
And the creator of Hex.
We had the creator of Hex, and we should talk about that a little bit because it's one of my favorite things to talk about.
It's on the list today.
It's kind of a meme. Nano is a meme on this show. If you're wondering why we were talking about Nano and Tipbox, it's because it's something that happens to come up all the time, and we're kind of trying to realizing what that meme means on this show. But yes, Richard Hart and his Hex is also a meme that. Anyway,
we've even had a Blockstream guy on. I mean, we're super
Blockstream and
aggressive. I don't want to say aggressive, but we question Blockstream, and we had Mario on, and he was great, and it was a very lively, heated debate that we laughed about and had fun with, and those are the kind of debates I love, where we can raise our voice and scream and shake our fist at each other and just laugh about it and pat each other on the back afterwards. We're interrupting each other, and he said he was born in Ireland. I don't know if he's actually Irish, but I was like, man, you sound Irish, because the way me and him were yelling at each other and interrupting each other and talking over each other, it was so Irish.
Oh, I guess that's good.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it.
So a lot of questions about the halving and what the hell is happening with Bitcoin, and it's really funny how, like one of Mike and Space's meme questions is the halvening priced in? And he was asking that months ago. Like, is the halvening priced in? Is the halving priced in?
I mean, he's the one who started it, right? He's like
I think he was trying to make a meme out of it, just like he does with most things.
Yeah.
But what's just kind of, I mean, it surprised me, but it doesn't surprise me one bit that the answer to his question was no, yes, no, yes, no.
But that's what's so great. I mean, that's why he's such a good marketer, is because he doesn't ever really take a side, and he trolls both sides equally. Yeah,
totally. But I mean, just in terms of the price action was just, I mean, it's the most volatile we've ever seen Bitcoin. I think from the 2 weeks that it took Bitcoin to go from, 6K to 20K was insane. But to go from like 10,000 down to 4,000 and then back up to 10,000 in like a month and a half or whatever.
And then back down to 8,000.
And then back down to 8,000. I mean, that's like, it was priced in both directions.
Yeah, the dumps were priced in.
How could it be priced in? And that means that who knows what's going to happen after the actual snapshot or whatever you call that block. Do we know, I don't know if you know this, Michael, but does the block reward split at the beginning of the block or after the block? I guess the block is mined, and once the block is mined, then it splits, right? There has to be one particular moment where everybody's like, oh, we're only getting 6.5 Bitcoins now, or 6.25 or whatever.
Yeah. What is it?
I think it's 6.25 per. That's the block reward, 6.25 Bitcoins.
So it was 12.5 before?
I think so. I think it was 12.5.
Okay.
And so when I first heard that, my thought was, well, like, how are miners going to be able, like, mining is too expensive for most people. Like, how are miners going to be able to keep the lights on or keep the fans on if they're only getting 6.25 Bitcoins per block, and that's to split in their pool. So basically, all of a sudden, if all of a sudden, it's kind of like coronavirus, if all of a sudden you're making half as much money. Like,
yes, we just equated Bitcoin to the coronavirus.
Well, I mean, it's like if all of a sudden one day, and I guess, so all of a sudden one day your salary just gets chopped in half.
Yeah.
And that to me is like, okay, well, a lot of them are going to close up shop. But the reason for asking the question is it priced in, is that everybody who mines has known about this for Well, since Bitcoin's inception, because it's part of the program.
Yeah.
So everyone who's mining either knows they're going to close up shop tomorrow or today. We're recording this one day before, but we're going to release it. You're listening to this probably as it's happening.
As
going,
it's
"Oh, these guys can
yes.
shut up now. It's already happened, and nothing has happened, so it's a non-event or whatever." Anyway, this is the background ambience as the Bitcoin clock ticks down. So, like, I would think they've got to pack up their bags and, you know, clean out their office or whatever by that block. But if they've known about it, maybe it's part of their business plan and they know that they can stick around. I don't really know. I guess it's gonna be...
it's like, do you just turn everything off the minute it happens? The minute that last block at 12.5 Bitcoin is mined, and then you just flip everything off? Or do you let it slowly wind down and you use some of your Bitcoin to slowly wind things down and hope that hope that by not turning off your miners, the price slowly starts to go up faster? Because if a bunch of miners turn off their miners all at once, it's going to tank the price at first.
That's what I would think, and that would spiral Bitcoin to death. But I don't know. I guess if you're a Bitcoin miner, you probably hodl a lot of your Bitcoins, right? Because you believe in it. But then you also need some runway. You need to spend your Bitcoin in order to keep the lights on.
Yeah, or maybe you sold all of your Bitcoin at 10,000 the last couple of days, right before it tanked to 8,000.
Yeah, I see. And then you probably also have like miner friends and like buddies that you go to the Bitcoin miner bars with and chat and figure out like what your next move is.
And you probably wear leather vests and cowboy hats.
And say your mining pool on the back. Yeah. It's like ant miner.
And you have your gold pans that you mine for gold with.
That's what I imagine miners to be like. Yeah, they've got
your big beard, and
they've got hard hats and beards and leather jackets that say they're mining pool. Well, I mean, so I imagine all the small time miners a lot of them are not going to be around anymore, which makes me think that we're going to have issues with the sort of centralization.
Yeah. The big C.
The big C. China. I mean, centralization.
And we just got banned in China.
China's where all the miners are going to be
in
the future. So,
because I'm sure China's just subsidizing them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because they want to take over Bitcoin and they want to take over. I mean, you got to give it up for China. Who are we talking to? Maybe it was Mario.
Give it up for China.
It was Mario. He's like, the one good thing about having a dictatorial regime like China is they can plan for 50 years. And they do. They've got their 5-year plan. They've got their 10-year plan. They've got these they think really long term. Whereas they're proactive, where America is reactionary and reactive. We just kind of something happens, we're constantly reacting. And so they foresee these things and they start to invest heavily. And Americans, it's a bunch of old white guys in Congress.
Well, it's also a bunch of people who disagree. Yeah.
But also they have no foresight. Half of them don't even know how to use a computer. Lindsey Graham doesn't use email. Half these guys don't understand tech and the future of technology. They're still in their, savannah mansions with their manservants, and it's just it's just so
they're hanging out in their gazebos, drinking mint juleps,
just so outside of reality. But that's how they like it, and they don't want things to change. That's why they're called conservatives. They want to conserve what they have. But it's we're progressing. It's time to move forward.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, right. We also have a country of people who disagree with each other, so that doesn't help. When you have dictators in charge, then they can say, "This is what we're doing," and you fall in line and you go to prison. So that's one thing that China has too.
At the end of the day, if Congress decides to do something, they're going to do it. And
Yeah, but when can
Americans
they decide to do
complain, but
anything?
like only probably like 1 out of every 50 things that we complain about actually gets fixed, because that's the rare time that we all kind of stand up together and be like, yo, stop it. And then they actually stop it, you know. But most of the stuff they're just doing under the radar, and most people don't read. Most people haven't read a book in the last 10 years. So
Most of them think Ethereum is like a crazy street drug. Probably.
sounds like
They
it.
think the internet is a series of tubes.
I mean, when I hear the word Ethereum and then see Vitalik wearing a unicorn rainbow shirt, it all makes sense.
Doing street drugs.
it just makes sense. Like some
He's
rave kid.
high on ether.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like big tin cans of ether that have been shipped in by the Mexican cartel. That's what the
Russian
kids are
mafia
into
guy.
right now.
And that's
Russian mafia guy.
And Vitalik is their front man. He's unassuming. He looks like a little rave kid. It's like what perfect front man for the ether drug.
All the little acronyms like LTC. You're gonna do some LTC and some DGB. DGB. They all sound like drugs to me, but maybe that's because I don't know. No, I wouldn't know. I haven't done a lot of drugs. I wouldn't know. PCP. Is there a crypto called PCP? I bet there is.
I'm sure
I bet there's
is.
PCP coin.
Yeah. So what else are we going to talk about? We said we were going to talk about something else, and I already forgot.
Oh, well, I mentioned the hex thing, which is kind of insane. Well, I mean, let's get into this. Okay, so
let's get into hex.
I don't want to give Richard Hart too much airtime because it's just, I mean, it's fun for us to talk about because in a world of like crypto people, I don't know if it's that the old timers, the OGs in crypto have kind of like been
back in my day 11 years ago.
I mean, they've been around long enough to take note of scams and be able to tell a scam before it's a scam, right? So we kind of like, I haven't been around in crypto that long, 2016 or whatever. So for me, it's like, okay, BitConnect, everybody saw that was a scam.
Yeah.
Most people saw that was a scam. Even the people that were a part of it kind of knew that was happening.
Yeah.
But so we listen to a lot of these people who have been around for a while. If they say, stay away from this thing or this guy or this show or whatever, it's kind of like, okay. But then here we are with a podcast thinking, let's actually look into it and see, what is this all about? Who is this guy? Let's get him on the show. Let's pretend to be friends with him or whatever. But, and
I mean, I wouldn't say he's our friend, but like,
no, that's why I said
he's
pretend.
a nice guy. Yeah. No, I'm saying he's a nice guy, and we chat back and forth every once in a while when like asking questions on, I'll DM him sometimes,
Yes.
about something I hear.
For
he's a very congenial person.
For a quote unquote scammer, he is definitely a guy who seems to want to help people, which is, I mean, I guess all kind of scammers say they want to help people, but I don't know. It's a little weird when somebody says, "Hey, you can't teach people not to get scammed. You can." he said you can't teach people how to get scammed. So I decided to make a scam that wasn't actually a scam, that they could use instead of just losing their money to some actual thief.
I mean, it's genius. It's absolute genius. And if it ends up working out, the fact that he approached it that way is absolute genius.
And I just didn't like the way everybody who criticized and accused him of trying to steal people's money just had a terrible argument. And it looked really bad.
God.
And so
it was embarrassing to listen to those people.
Yeah,
they were so unprepared to talk to him.
Yeah, and
he just mopped the floor with every single person who came on his show.
And I don't love that because I am usually very skeptical of a person who mops the floor with people. Like somebody who is just a really smooth talker and says a lot of fancy words really quickly, and somebody not unlike me who. I mean, we had Richard Hart on our show, and he basically took over the entire show. I mean, the first thing he did was give us a lesson in branding on our own show. Okay, so it's like, This is if anybody's going to scam anybody, it's going to be someone kind of like that. Somebody who's like, listen to me, I know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And but we gave him the benefit of the doubt, and now his project is, I don't know, what up, like 60 or 70 x,
No,
60
like
or 70 times, something like
600, 700%, something like that.
So, okay, still could be a scam. I know that BitConnect went up really high, and but the way I see it is that I don't think this is actually a scam. I think, if anything, the worst that could happen here is that he could get hacked, or he could get arrested. I don't know. I'm sure he's
but
done
even
something
then,
against
I
the
mean,
law.
like anything, and JJ and I have actually really kind of dug into this and asked questions back and forth, and like trying to wrap our heads around this. Like, okay, so where's the scam? Okay, so you buy these coins, they could be worthless. Well, all crypto is worthless unless somebody buys it from you, right? So everything's worthless. You can't actually do anything with any of it yet, except for send it back and forth to each other. And there's 1,000 of them that do that. So they say Bitcoin's the safest. Maybe. I mean, it's 60% centralized in China. So how safe technically is it? But like, okay, so let's say he dies. Well, all the code's open source.
No, it's not. It's not open source.
But it's been audited.
The blockchain. It's already running on the blockchain, on the Ethereum blockchain.
Yeah.
So you can see all the transactions and everything. It's just a smart contract.
And all the Ethereum, or all the hex that you buy with Ethereum. So you use Ethereum to buy hex. All of it that you buy and all of it that you stake is all in your wallet. It's just locked in a smart contract. So if that smart contract turned out to be a scam and you couldn't access it, it would still be in your wallet. You just, for whatever reason, it'd be locked behind the smart contract. Somebody could eventually probably go in and break that smart contract if it came to it, if people put their mind to it. But it is a question where I'm just like, where's the scam? I just don't.
Yeah,
don't 100% see. Like, he can't really steal. And then the other thing was like rewards. He's getting a huge percentage every time a reward is minted. He gets like an extra 40% is created that goes to him, or goes to whatever account.
He doesn't need to scam anyone. He's already getting rich off of it. And
yeah,
but sure.
But my thing is like, okay, so he's getting a ton of hex. It's in his best interest for it to go up and be valuable. Because if it doesn't, I mean, granted, he's got all this ETH. So he's got a ton of ETH and then a ton of hex. So if the hex doesn't do anything, he's got the ETH.
If something goes wrong with the project, if it does get attacked,
hexed,
if it gets hexed, then he could disappear with a lot of ETH and just go live on an island somewhere, a different island somewhere.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, so he might do that. And honestly, I said this before, if he at this point, having become such a public personality and becoming such an advocate for crypto, and if he does leave with everyone's money, then
I mean, he'd have no friends.
Good for him.
He'd have like,
congratulations.
He'd have a bunch of people
well
out to kill him, probably.
Yeah.
So like that would be, and he's only probably like in his 20s or 30s at this point.
Richard Hart, I think he's in his 40s. I don't know, but
okay, so let's say 30s or 40s.
Yeah, really, he's got to be in his 40s.
So he's got 40 years left that he has to look over his shoulder and can't go out in public and can't talk to anybody in the crypto space ever again, and can't. And the other thing is just like, at that point, everyone's going to be following the ETH attached to Hex and trying not to accept it, or trying to like block it from getting used, or so they're going to do everything they can to make his life a living hell.
So what about like the people who are involved with BitConnect? We don't know anything about them because they stayed in the shadows the entire time.
Yeah,
right.
Like same with Plus Token or One Token or whatever it was. The Indian
except
lady,
for that woman. What happened to her? Does
they can't find her. They found her brother,
right?
And he pretty much
So she disappeared.
Told them everything.
She had a plan to disappear.
Yeah.
So that's okay. So that's.
But now she's a wanted criminal by Interpol and by pretty much every agency in the world, because she scammed $1 billion, like a few hundreds of millions, maybe even $1 billion worth of of Bitcoin.
Yeah, and this day and age, man, with so much surveillance everywhere,
She's gonna
and
get caught eventually
I
and
just
go to
don't know
jail for the
how
rest of
you
her life.
well, either that or you're gonna hide in like a tropical jungle for the rest of your
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
and hope that no. Yeah, I don't know what you would do. I mean, it's got to be an interesting life, hiding from everyone for the rest of your life, spending
But I
your
mean, it seems like
billions.
Richard's already doing that in his Transylvania castle. So it's
Yeah,
like maybe he's like, I don't care. I'm already doing it,
yeah.
son.
That's the
COVID,
thing. I
baby.
don't know what
I've been
the
living
incentive
COVID
is.
for the last 10 years.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's some of our thoughts, and then also I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just think it's kind of a fascinating thing. I mean, there's no shortage of interesting projects in crypto, and the fact that Hex is doing exactly what it was designed to do.
Yeah.
When I first asked him, the reason I didn't believe his project, and I had to DM him, I was like, "What the fuck are you making this for? Like, is it supposed to be money? Is it supposed to be make the world a better place?" And he straight up said, "I want to make something go up in value faster and higher than anything else. That's it, and stay up." And I
And
was
what
like,
an amazing thing during this massive run up over the last month after the one of the biggest dips, like 1 day dips, to have Bitcoin be outshined tenfold by Hex. That's just crazy.
yeah, it's crazy, and we'll see what ends up happening. I mean, it's also, I mean, it's not even, it's not its own blockchain or anything. It's just a token that runs on
Yeah.
Ethereum, and
It could die a horrible, gruesome, fiery death, just like Verge did,
it's not
and
even
come back 5 more times, just like Verge did.
have we thought about the possibility that it's that it could eventually clog up the Ethereum blockchain like CryptoKitties? I mean, like if it did become top 10 market cap.
I mean, we'd have to figure out why. But CryptoKitties wasn't a token. It wasn't its own token, was it?
It was basically a smart contract from what I understand. It was just the reason that it
I mean, people were buying it with ETH. They were buying CryptoKitties, so it was like a consumable.
No, it was a game. It was like an ERC 721. It was a game that ran on Ethereum.
Okay.
So it generated new kitties or whatever. So people were using it over and over again to generate new things.
Gotcha.
And so it's like, I would think that, well, Hex would have to be transacted, millions of times a day or whatever in order for that to happen, especially as the ETH2 and second layer.
But then it could just run on Optimism or
yeah. So I don't know.
Like
I'm just trying to think, like, is that?
I mean, Chainlink hasn't been clogging up the Ethereum network, and
that's a top
Engine
20.
Coin hasn't been doing that.
Okay.
And
I mean, most of these ERC20s, like, they eventually, I mean, they're fundraisers to build their own blockchains, like just like TRX was, and ICX or whatever. I all did the same thing, but Hex is it's meant to run on Ethereum. It's just meant to go up in value.
Yeah.
It's just kind of crazy that he spent 2 or 3 years in crypto just making a YouTube channel just so that he could do this.
Yeah, it seems like he wants to create a form of money that runs on Ethereum. So kind of like what Lightning is to, the main chain or something like that.
I just had a thought.
What?
You know how, like, you know how crypto, like Bitcoin, is full of like idiots that kind of just got lucky because they got Bitcoin early, and now they're considered geniuses by themselves and a few other people because of that. Can you imagine in like 10 years, like the Hex communities that are like, I am a genius because Richard Hart told me to buy Hex. Like, there's gonna be Hex Twitter. There's gonna be Hex Twitter with just a bunch of like bros,
with their fat messiah sitting on his throne.
He's the king of idiots. Like, I mean, what
he says it too. I mean, he's like, when he goes on his mask tirade of like, wear a fucking mask, you idiots.
He he really is doing God's work in terms of like rounding up a lot of the complete morons in crypto and educating them. I gotta hand it to him. I wouldn't be able to do that. I mean, who wants who?
You have Richard Hart, you have Crypto Finally, you have a handful of people who seem to be like getting the dregs of the dregs in the crypto space and or bringing in new people. So Richard's got the dregs of the dregs. Crypto's finding just random people on the street who like
Crypto Finally, right?
You know, who like TikTok and stuff like that.
She's getting the TikTok crowd.
You know, so she's getting like the young Generation Z kids who we absolutely need to come into the space. She's the one bringing in those people. He's taking the ones who like, you know, don't belong outside in public because they don't know how to dress themselves and you know, they've got like hunchbacks and I'm just kidding, whatever. But like, so he's taking them and trying to like transform them into normal human beings. And like, so we've got people doing.
Yeah. So what are we doing? We're like taking the people who like are armchair intellectuals and like saying, "Hey, come hang out with us." Yeah, we're adding a lot to the space here.
Well, I think there's definitely a subset of people who enjoy the space, but just have so many damn questions because none of it really makes sense, and it's just like blind love and devotion for Bitcoin, or you get, you know, thrown off the mountain or something like that. And those people are just too scared to say anything. We're like, you know what? We'll say something. We'll start up a podcast and say something.
Yeah, I guess so. That's one of the things about this community that gets so stale is the lack of people asking questions, man. It's like, it's like
there's no debate. It's not intellectual anymore.
If you own Bitcoin, it's not going to go down in value if you ask questions about it.
Yes.
It's still going to go up in value.
And honestly, it's going to make it stronger. Yeah. The fact that nobody answers questions is the reason why the community, like people outside the community, are so skeptical of it. Is because the answers just aren't readily there. If you say, "Is this a scam?" you can't find a lot of answers. You have a lot of people attacking you instead, and that's the first sign that it's a scam. When you don't answer a question and instead you attack the person with an ad hominem attack, that screams red flag. That screams scam. And I don't think maximalists understand that they're actually hurting Bitcoin by acting that way. So whatever.
So I guess we can let's talk about price for a second.
Yeah.
So the price went
way
way up
yesterday,
and then it went way up, and then it went way down, and then I guess that's it. I guess we've talked about price. We can move on to something else. No, seriously,
I just happened to be at my computer, and I was like, "Oh, the daily candle's about to change. I'll go take a look at it." And literally, and I just sat there and watched the whole thing. I was like, "Holy!
Oh, you did?
Shit! Oh my god! Yeah, man. I was there the entire time. Great.
I mean, did you? So yeah, you must have been buying.
I did a little. So I had some money in it, and as it started to dump, I just sold everything. So I lost, like 4% just in that, and then I bought some, and I kind of made up some, and blah blah. And
yeah, it's weird when you're watching something like that happen. So I want to create a trading view script that I don't even think this is possible, but I want to make the candle that is currently forming like gray. I want to make just that one candle, or make it like really dull colored, because I swear to God, like that last candle that's forming looks like so much bigger than every other candle. Like looks, I mean, it just looks brighter and redder or greener, whatever color you don't want it to be. That's what color that it is whenever you're looking at it. And I swear, I just want it to look. I just don't want it to scare me when I see it, because how many times have I looked at TradingView and been traumatized by that candle? And then of course,
why don't you switch over to black and white view?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I did that for a while, but I mean, still, the colors do help. But it's just that last one that looks fatter and wider and bigger when it's forming. So I watched it when it dropped. it's weird hearing people on Twitter and say like, "Oh my God, this is catastrophic. What a nuke candle." When just a month ago we went from like 8,000 to 4,000 in a day in like nothing.
Yeah.
And to see that happen, Michael, you make it sound like, "Oh, I sold when it was, when it was crashing." But I mean, that's not that easy to do because I mean, it's crashing. If you sold right when it started crashing, well, what if it's just a flash crash and it's just going to bounce back up? You can't know that that is going to do that. Nobody can. And anybody who says that they can tell is lying. They're taking a chance also.
Yeah, but I feel like at a certain point when it breaks through enough resistance lines,
it is likely to fall. Yes.
Well, once it breaks through every single resistance line I've drawn, I sell at that point because obviously something and the volume just starts to keep is just like skyrocketing up.
Yes, you add to the problem, Michael.
I'm selling everything and I'll go back in when I well, it's like I'm poor and I'm probably making myself poorer by trading, but I definitely at the time of COVID, I need to protect my USD capital right now. I'm not in a position where I can have everything in Bitcoin and the value of it swing from 3,800 to 10,000 back to 3,800 again. Because I don't know if I'll have money to pay rent next month. I didn't pay rent this month. I'm on unemployment.
Wow.
My job gave me unemployment because there's no work. And I have 6 weeks of unemployment just sitting there saying pending in my account. So for whatever reason, I'm approved. Yeah, I got a payment before that. So I'm waiting on 6 weeks of unemployment. That's just for whatever reason, like the state's backed up. So I'm not really in a position like I need to be able to have money where if something hit the fan tomorrow, I would have 3 bags ready to go in 20 minutes and I'd get in my car and just walk away from my apartment and everything in it.
I feel like every time
why I'd want cash.
Every time I try to, whether it's sell when something is looking like it's crashing or buy when something looks like it's about to pump, I feel like I always get burned. I feel like that just doesn't work for me at all. I think I just thought I was cursed for the longest time that Bitcoin was always going to crash when I bought. I still kind of feel that way. Like I'm the reason, I'm the problem. And that every time I try to get out before a crash, it's just like no, just like, taking out some stop losses or something. So I just don't even play that game. I mean, I do not trade. Well, I won't say I don't trade. I don't try to buy and sell Bitcoin. It's just too hard.
Yeah.
I
do stuff now on like bigger time frames. So if I see like a massive daily downtrend or weekly downtrend or something like that, then maybe I'll sell a little bit and then try to buy lower. But like you said, I feel like every time I do that, I just get burned. So for the most part, I don't do that. Like I've got my no touch stuff. But I feel also it's like I don't want to spend my time sitting in front of a computer staring at numbers. Like some people really enjoy that, and I don't fault them for that. But not. I'd rather stare at the screen and type words and try to make people laugh with it. That's just me. That's what I enjoy doing. Or surf. So it's like I'd much rather do something like that.
When I was in college, it was really popular to get a degree in like, some kind of business or something and go become an iBanker so that you could go stare at a number and watch it go up and down. And I remember thinking, God, these idiot frat boys that like think that's what life is about. And now here I am sitting here looking at a chart, watching a number go up and down, and going,
doing TA,
doing technical analysis. Ooh, I'm such a whiz. I'm doing technical analysis. I'm drawing lines and triangles. And
good job, Chad. Way to sell it to the man, Chad.
You should see my Fibonacci sequence. It's going to go to the moon. You should see my extensions. My Fibonacci extension. Yeah.
I was going to do you have hair extensions?
My Fibonacci extensions. It's a way to predict where price is going to go. But it never actually works.
Yeah. You're pretty much a a tea leaf reader at that point.
Yeah, which is fun. It's like reading tarot cards or something.
Yeah.
Except it's like about something that's not very
Except
important.
for you're losing a ton of money as you do it.
Yeah,
it's a very expensive
it's like
habit.
something that only I care about and no one else really does. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm also like I feel like there's a lot of people in crypto who really want to they want to get really rich in crypto.
Yeah.
And
guilty as charged.
Well, here's my question for you: and I see this meme a lot of the time. It's like, there's like the meme of like the guy with the little kid, and the little kid is saying like, "Grandpa, where were you in 2017?" And he was like, "I sold the top," stuff like that. And I'm like thinking like, okay, so you want to get really rich in crypto, and that's what you want. That's what you want to do. I mean, I guess it would be nice not to have to worry about money, but like, I mean, here we are making a podcast, so we're contributing to this space a bit. I just feel like
Quote,
there's so many people in crypto that their desire is to get rich buying something and watching it go up. It's like there's a lot of ways to make money and get rich, and I don't know. It's just one of those things that I find that I always wish that there were more people wanting to do more rather than just buy a thing.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting frustrated with. I feel like all crypto has done is just created the next generation of stockbrokers and traders. And like that's all because that's if crypto dies, they're just going to go over to regular stocks and commodities, and half of them are. Mm-hmm. Half of them are trading both now. And crypto got them into it, but they're doing both now.
I think one of the things that's a little bit more interesting about this than the stock market 10 or 20 years ago or whatever is that now there's all these outlets. Now there's a lot of traders with podcasts and Twitter personalities and all this. Like, people are actually creating stuff, and I think that's cool. I think that if anything, find those people to look up to and create something or do something. Like, just
don't look up to anybody.
Well, don't look up to anyone.
Learn from people.
Admire people for what they're doing rather than just buying something. Because I feel like that is what kind of annoys me, is a bunch of people. I mean, it's like bottom of the barrel to just want to, I don't know, I guess this is just capitalist nature is to, I'm going to buy something, I'm going to sell it high. And that's what I'm going to do for the world. That's like, it's just like, that's, I don't know how else to put it.
We've gravitated towards people who build.
Yeah,
totally. And even the Vile gang, you may not like them, but they're building stuff. They're building spaces where you can safely question these things. They're building websites. They're building, like all these guys, half the Vile gang, you may not like them, but they do a lot of research and they do a lot of digging to find out the shady people, because they feel it's their job to sound the warning bell on the actual scammers.
Hey man, anybody who's on Twitter, like making tweets all the time, is doing something more than the guys that are just kind of following and hoping for a signal from somebody that they can get them rich. Well, maybe it's this. Maybe it's that a lot of people are thinking, I'm going to buy Bitcoin. I'm going to buy crypto. I'm going to buy Verge, and I'm going to get really, really rich. And then once I'm rich, I'm going to do something amazingly impactful for the world. Maybe that's it. Maybe you have to be Bruce Wayne before you can be Batman.
I've been there. I still feel like that half the time. It's like, if I just had a little more money, I could make this movie. Or, if I had a little more money, I'd have time to donate more time to charity or blah, blah. And it's all bullshit. Seriously. And I have to look myself in the mirror and say, you're so full of shit. Don't use a lack of money as an excuse to not donate your time to charity, because half the time you're sitting around watching fucking TV. Well, the other half of your time you're sitting on your computer, tweeting bullshit, and then starting fucking Twitter feuds on Twitter and just so much fucking crap that, like, there is no reason not to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to do something, do it. And if you don't have the money, adjust your assumptions of what it takes to achieve that, and start small and work your way up. But like, if your entire purpose is to make money, well, that's a pretty shitty purpose. Now, if you want to make money to do something specific, like I want to start up a business that does this and I need this amount of money, and make your goal that and do that, that's totally fine. But if your purpose is like, I want to be a billionaire, why? So I'll be rich. Why?
Well, the problem, Michael, and
I feel like that's what a lot of the billionaires do. Like fucking Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos. These guys, like, they claim to want to do all these things, but they end up kind of fucking everything up because they don't really. Yeah. They never knew what it was like to be poor, in essence. And now they're so out of touch. They have no idea what to do with their money and how to really help, and they just kind of fuck shit up even worse.
Yeah, for me, that the problem is that we live in a world, particularly in a country, that has put value on being like a billionaire. A lot of people, that's their goal because they don't know what else to look up to. I mean, it's just like, oh, I've been told to go out and make as much money as possible. Well, then the billionaires are the best at that because they got the most money. So that must be what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Yeah. And I mean, if you know that something can be accomplished and it isn't the fact that you don't have enough money to do it or whatever, I mean, at least that's a better type of bullshit than like, I mean, I know you, and if you had millions in the bank, then you would be making films. I know that. I think a lot of people probably tell themselves, oh, if I only had a little bit more money, I'd be doing that thing that I love to do. When in reality, they probably wouldn't. They'd probably be just sitting around doing nothing. Yeah. Or they'd be so in love with themselves that they'd be on Twitter all the time talking about how they're looking for the next cure for COVID or whatever. Yeah, now, that's not
they'd be Martin Shkreli.
I think
most people would end up like Martin Shkreli,
where they would never really get enough. It would never really get enough because how many billions of dollars is enough? Is enough billions really?
How many millions of dollars is enough? I feel like
millions is enough.
Like they've done the math, and to retire, with a decent life, you need like $5 million. But that means you're never going to work again after 65. Could you imagine at 65 saying, okay, I'm done. For the next 20 years of my life, I'm going to sit and watch TV and play golf.
I think a lot of people would say that sounds great.
I would fucking shoot. I would blow my brains out if that was.
Yeah, but
I think people are going to rethink it after 2 months off with COVID and realize just how fucking boring doing nothing is.
Well, no, I think it's not. Most people don't want to do nothing. Most people want to do whatever they want to do at any given moment, and that's what retirement. That's what a beautiful retirement is to most people. It's like, I just want to build a wood shop in my garage.
Yeah, but we need to start training people to realize they can start that at 18, not wait till they're 65.
I don't know. I kind of have a dream that everybody once they get old, like, doesn't have like huge overbearing responsibilities anymore. I mean, that would be nice. Like, wouldn't that be great if everybody, once they turn 65 or 70, it was like, you can do whatever you're passionate about, but you don't need to fucking worry about having to pay your health insurance anymore. You don't have to worry about that.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, that's the problem that we have now. It's like,
we shouldn't make people have to worry about paying their health insurance at.
Well, that's an example. I mean, 30. Think of the amount of pressure that you and I have on our shoulders every single day to just live. Like, wouldn't that be nice if we didn't have to deal with that when our knees are hurting every morning when we get out of bed? I mean,
but Europeans already have that at 25, at 30.
We got to figure out how to do that for the entire world, because obviously our country, the U.S., doesn't have that, and they definitely don't have that in places that are super marginalized. So I mean, we've got a long way to go.
Well, I mean, there's a big sign, there's a big how-to book right across the pond, and all we got to do is read it. But Americans are so fucking like.
Here we go.
There's so much hubris in America. We refuse to read the fucking book. And I already told you how many people don't read books. So we can't even get half people to read the book. And the other half that can read the book just refuse to flat out read it. Because they're no, I already know the answer.
I think it's
like, no, you don't know the answer.
It starts with people realizing that that the quest in life is not to get as much money as you want. It's to make the world a better
Yes.
place.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's 55 minutes. We're going to go. How long can we go on for?
55 minutes of ranting.
55 minutes of having ranting on our anniversary.
Nice.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next week when we have a real guest talking about
really fast. Martin and Michael. Thank you. No, sorry, Lucas and Michael. Thank you.
Lucas and Michael. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for getting the ball rolling on the donations and
yes.
And we're gonna do really good things with that $12.
Yeah. Follow us on Twitter at keyword crypto @keyword_m, and I'm keyword _JJ. So yes, follow us, become a part of our little community, and maybe you can be a guest on the show.
Absolutely, we'd love to have you.
We'll say goodbye. See you, everyone.
Bye, everybody.